healer and health and wellness practitioner coach. Um, Welcome to this healing energy treatment. Happens normally Monday nights, but sometimes it shifts to another night in the week if schedule doesn't allow. So anyway, also welcome to anyone who's viewing this on YouTube or Facebook live stream or recorded in the future. So we'll get started now, and I wanted to talk a little bit about a really well, it's part of my journey, an interesting experience um, that I've had over the years, and that is my relationship with pain, and not a very easy subject, but my first really, I mean, I've well, the most intense experience I had was when I had a near-death experience, and a lot of you know that story, where I almost died when I was in India, and I was in intense pain for 2 weeks, and then I left my body. Um, I think if the heat gets hot enough, it's time to evacuate, and that's what happened. I left my body, and I went to another uh, world, or whatever you want to call it, another plane, and and it was very peaceful there. No pain, no body, just peace, and it seemed like the best thing. And a being of light said, "You have to go back here. Take this gift." And he handed he it wasn't a he. Um, it handed me a glowing orb, and and that was it. I was back in my body, back in pain, and it really influenced my life in a lot of ways. And that's the thing about pain that I want to. I think it's really important for me. It's been really important to reframe what pain means. For many years, it was something that I wanted to avoid. I wanted to escape. Um, you know, that was always in the back of my head, that fear that pain was, if pain comes back, oh, it's really horrible, and it's true. But still, it was the thing that I always, I mean, one thing I feared. And when I talk about, these days, when I talk about death, I'm not afraid, you know, because, well, already done that, been there, done that, not so bad. But the pain always, it was the issue, and I've had a new sort of way of looking at pain now, um, that it's at least for myself, of course. I wish no pain not on anyone, but I know that pain uh, guides me. It guides me, and I can choose which way to go and what to do about it. Because pain is like when they talk about cars, and you hear this loud noise, and what do? You can turn up the radio, or you can get a mechanic and figure it out, right? That's just an analogy, but in life it's a message. It's the message, and it doesn't. So these days I'm looking for pain, not hiding from it, so that um and you can get rid of pain. What happens, like with pain meds? You mask it, but the underlying issues are still there. Now, I think it's good to get a break from pain, but from my near-death experience, the pain actually got me to the to a source power that I would have never gotten or experienced without it. So I am not advocating that much pain, um, but I know that it did make a difference in my life. I mean, it was a pivotal time for me that really, I was stubborn and I was 25 and a half years old at the time. And I thought, before that, I thought I was pretty invincible. And so I was traveling around the world for 2.5 years and, going through all kinds of, adventures and things. And until that happened, that was kind of the ego and, youth, ego of youth and craziness. So at any rate, now I'm, I feel like um, if I look at pain as even in the small times, that it can be my my teacher, right? That I don't have to run for my teachers. I can learn, and so that's what I wanted to talk about. Um, I want to I'm going to work a little bit with pain, and um, so you can erase pain temporarily, and even take some of the underlying causes out. But if there's a signature or even in the environment, so you could take the genetic, you know, predisposition out, but now they say 90% is in your environment. So we can't hide from everything out in the world. So that means we need to make make choices and make decisions on how to act and um, find solutions to whatever the issue is that we are challenged with. And and the when it gets to the pain level, then it's time to act. And I have to say, pain is a motivator. Pain is, like fire. It it's a it it it's going to it gets me off my seat, and if I'm in a hot seat, it's gonna get me up. So that if you're prone to inaction, or sort of, you could call it procrastination, whatever, then it's when the pain comes, then it's really time. It's time to make those changes, to find the solutions to whatever the methods are best for you. But anyway, so I'm just going to do some energy uh, clearings around decision making, pain management, um, and just see where it goes. So just relax now. Um, check in with your body. Pain is not simply neurological, it can be um, it manifests there. Often we feel it, but what I mean to say is there are feelings, emotions, um, you know, memories, and those are the things I'm going to see if we can either not enhance so that you feel more pain, but just get some clarity, and perhaps clear um, some of those things that are under the pain. So if you find the pain, it's almost like the breadcrumbs out of the forest, right? From those little Hansel and Gretel myth. So we can trace it back and perhaps clear some of those old um, repetitive behaviors that you keep rubbing up against, and after a while you rub so much it gets raw and um, And so that's where this is taking me right now. Let's let if you find um, a a sensation in your body that's uncomfortable, you don't have to go back because we don't need to re-traumatize. But energetically, we can go back to that source and see, and then correct that there. So that's the basic premise of this. Energetically, that we it's not even time per se, but it is somehow in the time-space continuum that we um, work on changing. So again, breathing, noticing, whether it be a feeling, a thought that's repetitive, sensation that's painful, a fear, anything, any of those things. And just gently breathe, notice it, and I'm going to work on those connections and that source material, so to speak. And the other thing that I'm going to want to say is if it's a lesson that you need to learn and you get a little break from it, that's fine. But if it's a lesson you need to learn and you haven't learned it, then it just returns and you get another chance at it. And you get maybe a reprieve. Well, if that happens from this treatment, which I've experienced myself from this kind of work. So there is a phenomenon that I was talking to someone about recently about how when we're born, the veil from some of this person was saying, "Oh, I believe in past lives and stuff and reincarnation," and the theory goes there's a veil that is when you're first born that is sort of lifted in a sense as you may experience some of your past life and but then it slowly as we get um, clear about well the reality of this life sort of uh, becomes more concrete hardened in a sense then that other experience dissipates that memory leaves and that probably is oh it's the way the system works it's probably not a bad thing but if I believe we can get glimpses of that and maybe others like other intuitives can see some people are gifted like that they can sort of tap into that and tell us more about our histories. that mystery history. At any rate, so the other thing that can gets carried over are some of the, I guess you could call them karmas from those previous um, life experiences, choices that we've made over over the whatever it is, time. Um, and so the premise is that we go back there into those old archives and, so to speak, and clear them a little bit. Maybe even forgive them. So you can do that with your own intention, and then perhaps the idea is that I'll walk back there and give them a hug, so to speak. It could be for ancestors as well. So I want to make sure we don't bring anything out. So I'm just going to clear all that out, because those little thought ideas can, want to get hung up on. It's like someone tells you something and you believe it, and then it's not necessarily important in this time. So we really don't want to hold on to it. It just can have some, perhaps what's the right word, an experience that then this is past, right? It's done. But we watched the movie. Now I wanted to get into, this is coming up now. It's about repetitive thought, repetitive action. We fall into these patterns, and um, especially if they're unhealthy, then they start to manifest into our physical uh, being, and then show up as, disease, dis-ease, and um, suffering of some kind. So those patterns are things that we can we can let go of, we can change, and sometimes they are gone for a while, and then they, for whatever reason, they come back, unfortunately. And but it's like a spiral up. It circles. So it's not, you're not in this single disc. You're more of a spiral upward. You want to think about that as, and not, we never repeat or return to the exact same place. We continue to grow and change, whether we believe it or experience it or not. Um, Sometimes it feels like we're on the merry-go-round, but it's more of a, there's change happening all the time, and it's subtle sometimes. So if you had sensation, I want to encourage you to check it out again, see how it feels, if it's any different or the same. And if it's gone, um, then see if there's something else. Because sometimes, there's one loud sound, and then when that goes away, there's one, no, it's not as loud, but it's still, there's something. Um, and that can be like that with, sensations, smell, sound, you name it, thoughts. So if the issue you with experiencing um, is diminished or seems less apparent, and something else has come up, just gently observe that. If it's still the same, I'm going to make another pass at it and see, if another nice option is to uh, clear past, present, and future. And so we'll see if maybe that will help. A lot of times there are all these different possibilities of, sort of influence or causes behind our experience, or our what's keeping us in an apparent uh, loop or cycle, and it feels like we're not making any progress. So um, those memories, past memories, present and future. Let's just see if we can. And it again, you may get a reprieve, right? A break from whatever's going on, but there's still going to be work for everyone to do for themselves, right? We change, help see there's a light at the end of the tunnel. There's perhaps less um, confusion and opportunity to grow from a point that feels like a new beginning. Okay. Just going to do one more general clearing for everyone. Okay. Good. So just we'll again, typical or common closing for this treatment. I want you to take your hands and bring them together, rub them together just to get a little bit of friction, energy, and then stop and slowly move them away from each other, little by little, expanding, just being aware of the possible experience between your hands. Looks like there's some kind of magnetic field. And these days, there's more understanding of, waves and magnetic fields. Raise the arms up. All the nerve endings, the mara points and acupressure, nadis and what they call it, whatnot, and points are in the hands. They terminate at the hands and the feet. Let's bring them down. Let's bring this, catching this golden energy ball, and then bring it slowly, gently to the heart. Turn the palms in toward the heart, left over the right. Take a nice full inhalation, drawing, imagining the energy coming into the body. And then take another deep breath, letting that energy permeate every cell, every aspect of your being. And then one more breath, inhaling and exhale, turn the palms out and extend the arms. As if from your heart, through your shoulders, through the arms, exiting from the palms of your hands, the fingers. We'll do it a couple more times. Inhale and exhale. Gentle, no forcing. Just allow it to naturally flow. One more time. And exhale. Bringing the hands back together in front of the heart. Express gratitude for any peace, for life, for love, for being alive. Just remembering that gratitude can be a practice that we can nurture and feel. But sometimes I might not have anything that I can think of that I'm grateful for. But over time, you find there are things, there's even just this very moment, peace. Great. So I want to thank you all for being here with me tonight, and anyone else who is coming across this recording or live stream. So anyway, hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and happy St. Patrick's Day. That to me, it's a wonderful holiday for welcoming in spring and honoring a wonderful culture. So again, so thank you again for being here, and peace to all of you. Namaste.
Thank you.
Bye.